Welcome back to Taste Buds, where the conversation is real and the food might be questionable. I'm Chief Master Sgt. Sean Andrews, the Command Chief for the 375th Air Mobility Wing, the installation host here at Scott Air Force Base. And we're thrilled to have with us today Tech Sergeant Corey Mason from the Wing Elevate office. Corey, tell us a little bit about yourself.
All right, Chief. So I'm Sergeant Mason. I'm the Section Chief at the 375th Scott Air Force Base Defense Research Market Lab.
That is a mouthful.
Absolutely.
So all that means elevate.
Correct.
Okay. And what else?
I need to learn how to elevate the title, right?
We'll work on that together. Maybe the fans can help.
So what's that mean? So I'm Security Forces by trade. I'm currently on loan from 375th Security Force Squadron. I work with the wing now. We have our own little shop. They're up at the Warmer Fitness Center, second floor.
And being a defender in the Elevate office, so like you went to MIT and got a certificate in advanced bionautical engineering.
So I'm still working on my CCAF.
Right on. Okay. Well, before we get too deep into what Elevate is and what they offer, here on Taste Buds, we like to eat. You hungry?
I'm hungry.
All right. Let's go. Tea and let's see what you got today. Oh, the quintessential MRE. Are you a fan?
Depends.
All right. So for our viewers at home, these are turned upside down. We have no idea what's in them. Here at Taste Buds, we like to play a little game, make it fair. So classic bottle of hot sauce. We like to play Taste Buds Roulette. I'm going to give you the option. Spin the bottle. Where it lands, that's what you get. Sound fair?
Fair enough.
All right.
You couldn't find the mini bottle?
We haven't opened it yet. All right, give it another go. You were just trying to get out of it again. One more time.
A little better?
There it is. All right. So let's see what you got.
For everyone watching at home, here you go. I have the pork sausage patty with maple flavor.
That sounds delicious. So what did I get? The Mexican style rice and bean bowl. That is a Americana classic for the field. That sounds new and innovative. Perfect for the Elevate office. We ready to dig in? You ever play with Legos as a kid?
I sure did, and I still do.
My problem with Legos is always like opening up all the packs and you mix them all together and then you can never follow the directions because all the pieces are everywhere. I kind of feel like Elevate's kind of like that. You just kind of are given this grand idea to go do. And how do you do that without an instruction manual that just works?
So there's a lot of things that we do that have never been done before, as we are innovative, right? So first off, we talk to a lot of companies on the civilian sector that already have a similar product. We go out and talk to them, get our market research and everything, and that's how we try to adapt what they have and adapt it to the military to meet our needs.
Well, that's amazing. You know what would meet my needs right now? You dig into that, so I can get a break from this for a second. Well, tell me how that blend is.
Syrup's amazing.
The syrup is.
The meat on the other end is not so
kind of tastes
meaty.
a little potted, a little.
A little cardboard.
Had I not told you that was a pork chop, would you think it was pork?
Wouldn't know what it is.
Yeah, I think I'd prefer a can of Spam. Shout out to all my Islander brothers.
Half a day.
So, traditionally, if we have time in the field, we're going to warm them up, right? That always makes it taste better. My go-to anytime I'm eating an MRE is hot sauce. Any brand. So if you want, you can add some. If not, I'll have fun fact, this particular brand of hot sauce was actually served in MREs dating back to World War II. They no longer put it in there because cost and inflation. But sometimes I'll bring my own, and I've got a little something that I'll put in there. All right, so let's get back to Elevate. Why do we even have an Elevate office?
So there are certain individuals that feel like we are becoming stagnant in the Air Force and we are just saying the same, while our adversaries are definitely advancing their technology, their resources, and everything. So we're playing catch up to them, advancing their technology. As General Martin said, we need to adapt, change, and overcome.
So Colonel Poole, our wing commander, put out 3 LOEs earlier, and LOE 3 is to seize the competitive advantage. I feel like being innovative and embracing innovation really gets after that line of effort to really seize the competitive advantage. What are we doing? What are our airmen thinking that we can take advantage of to take to the next level that can help us in the next fight, right? Everything's about our next fight and winning. Burning question that the audience wants to know. Elevate's kind of sci-fi-ish, I think. So hypothetically, if UFOs were to land at Scott Air Force Base, where are you keeping the aliens?
Maybe I could be one.
And how did you go from being a defender to working and leading in the Elevate office?
Right. So I started out as a DBIDS NCOIC.
What is DBIDS?
Defense Biometric Identification System.
So that's like the thing they scan your ID card at the gate with?
Correct. So
Okay.
when you come onto the installation, everybody that is military affiliated has a profile built for them and is modified to their account. So whether it be if you have a CAC, retired ID, dependent ID, retired ID, they came at me and they said they wanted to do an automated gate. So COVID-19 taught us a lot, that we can do a lot of automation with minimum work. So
But did that cause defenders to say, they took my job?
we still have a shortage for defenders. We always need more defenders. So where the COVID started, let me start over. Where the hands-free started, Scott Pass, as you know it, which we'll go into detail with that later. Scott Pass started with a defender. They were scanning the IDs, but handling IDs. So you were, go ahead and help yourself if you want some syrup.
You talk, I'm going to eat.
So our Elevate shop, even before I was at Elevate, they created a hands-free system that once you pulled up, it's not that bad. That if you scanned your ID, it would trigger the device, which are handheld scanners, and it would still read through DBIDS. They didn't have to touch the ID. And then we thought, how could we improve this? So now we have an automated vehicle. 2 of our lanes at the Shiloh Gate are automated. So you pull up, you scan your ID, and then you enter your access code, and then you're granted access to the installation.
Another cool thing about Elevate, that it sounds like it fosters a lot of creativity amongst the airmen and in the workplace. Talk about, people listening right now or watching me eat an MRE. How can they get their creative ideas into works?
So there's multiple processes that you can get your IDs to us, because I'm not going to be the creative one to come up with everything. That's where we rely on our airmen to come up with these ideas, and we help facilitate them and push them forward. So there's multiple ways you can do that. There's a SIF pitch day, which you come, you brief your idea in front of all wing leadership, and we sit down.
In Squadron Innovation Plans.
Correct, thank you. Pitch that. If we like it, everybody likes it, and everybody agrees on it, then we push forward to get that to the Air Force. Or, like, we are located in the Warmer Fitness Center, the 2nd floor. Anybody can come up at any time and pitch their idea to us, and we will sit down and help them. And it's not just like these big projects. We also have 3D printers. We can print your little things that if it's going to save the Air Force money, you can get rewarded for that.
What capabilities do you guys bring today right here?
Today right here?
Yeah.
So right now, just our knowledge, our location, our leadership we have lets us push forward with this. They trust us to do it.
Do you make things in the office?
That we do.
How do you do that?
3D printing. I'm trying
3D printing.
I am chewing, sorry.
Well, that's part of the show, Bud. So we bring ideas. You guys, you get some computer literate programmer type things to people to craft out these ideas on the computer, and then you 3D print the ideas right there in your office.
Correct. So we have a few lab techs that are the comm guys, the real nerds of the Air Force. I'm sorry, but they are the ones that can bring that to light. They will sit down and work with you. Whereas I don't know much about 3D printing, but these are the SMEs of 3D printing, and then they can bring that idea to light.
So they're the true all-stars of the team.
3D printing side of it, correct.
Yeah. So what's the coolest thing you guys have made in there?
3D printing wise?
Sure.
Oh. So I know they were working on a yoke mount for one of the aircraft.
Did you say a UFO?
Yoke mount.
Yoke mount.
Yoke mount.
Okay.
Pilot talk. We don't know anything about that.
All right.
Above our pay grade, right?
And you guys were heavily involved in facial recognition, right?
Mm-hmm.
Making the containers that the facial recognition.
Correct. So they 3D printed the initial 3D printer, or they initially designed the 3D to hold the cheetah reader, and then, let me go back to that even. So they 3D printed the device to hold the handheld scanner or the DBID scanner to make it contactless, hands-free scanning.
And then
it ballooned into what we have now as Scott Pass. So we went from our handheld scanner being 3D printed in a mount to now we have a cheetah reader we use to scan the ID, enter your access code to gain access to the installation. And our defender doesn't even have to be involved in that process. They're just providing overwatch.
So another reason you don't need a defender at the gate.
Correct.
So you heard it here first, putting all the defenders out of work, Team Elevate. So what are you looking forward to moving forward with the Elevate office? What are some of the goals that leadership's given you or that you guys have taken on? Where do you see this moving and progressing?
So as we talked about, I am a defender. So most of my projects reflect on the defender side of things.
Sure. Force protection.
Absolutely.
Law enforcement.
So we are currently beta.
Amazing.
You can have some. So while I'm talking again, we are currently beta testing a facial recognition process, so that you don't even have to use your access code.
Those got a smoky Chipotle thing going on there. They're nice. Talking to you.
And then also,
before we let you go, I want to circle back to something that you guys have already been hugely successful at, and that is our Belligerent Badger exercise series. In fact, you guys were highlighted all the way at the AMC level and to SimSAF, Chief Master of the Air Force, when she visited. Talk about some of the successes that you guys found incorporating technologies developed here that we pushed into the field and really excelled there.
Right. So we know comm is always going to be an issue out in the middle of nowhere, right? Even when we forward deploy or anything. So what we basically developed, we worked with a startup. They have a mobile mesh network. So we incorporated that, which can be completely solar, off the grid, and it can create a mesh network, many acres, and it's linked to a Starlink. So we set up
a Starlink satellite.
Starlink satellite, Elon Musk
okay.
satellite, yeah. And so we had a mesh network out in the middle of Wisconsin. And then you talked about Belligerent Badger. We also field tested it at Mobility Guardian. So it worked great in the Pacific Islands, which is where possibly our next flight could be.
Yeah.
So we've already field tested that, and they had
so what
great
does
feedback.
This do? Why is that important?
Right. So right now we have your pre-existing infrastructure. Tyndall Air Force Base, the hurricane was a prime example of what can happen. You get hit with a hurricane, you lose all communication. If you lose all communication, it can be set up within hours. You can be back on the network talking, and then the best part, even if you lose the Starlink internet, you're still going to have your mesh network, so your defenders can still be talking over like comms and everything.
So when we're talking about fighting in a contested environment with degraded communications, having a backup communications mesh network that we can just roll off of a plane. I mean, how big is this thing? What are we talking about? So
it's funny. It looks like a big, almost bomb. And walking through the airport,
you can't say bomb on a.
You can't say it in the airport either.
Okay,
so you don't want to walk through the airport.
So you have a torpedo tube full of comm.
More or less. So it's battery powered. It can last up to 3 days, and I'd say it's about every bit of that big. And then you have your solar panel, and it can be mounted or it can just be thrown on the ground.
And this is this is something that we did at Scott Air Force Base.
Right. We incorporated that civilian technology and fit our needs as the Air Force. We had an air show. You have 20,000 people there. Your cellular data definitely gets slowed down. So we set up that in the field there, and it was able to provide all our key leaders internet.
Awesome.
So while everybody else's phone didn't work, they couldn't upload their Snapchat videos and their Facebook videos, our leaders could.
That's pretty amazing.
Mm-hmm.
And you do this like as a side hustle, or is this your full-time job?
Right. So I'm on loan from the 375th Security Forces Squadron. I've been here for about a year now. So it is a side job, I guess, but I'm very passionate about it. But I will eventually fall back to security forces. But
And correct me if I'm wrong, but the Defenders call you Bill Nye the Science Guy.
I don't know what they call me.
Is that on a softball jersey or? No?
Who knows what they call me behind my back?
We have had a wonderful time chatting with you. I hope you enjoyed the delicious culinary experience. I hope it really tickled your taste buds.
I've had worse.
And yeah, anything you want to close up the show with, and that we didn't get a chance to talk about, anything you want to highlight coming up, or any plugs you want to make?
No, I just want to thank my leadership for providing this opportunity for me. I feel like I've made the Air Force a better place, if not right now, but it's eventually going to lead to that. Also, I feel like I've grown as a leader now. It's taken me out of my comfort zone, just doing that typical flight stuff. I've got to experience more. I work with the wing now. I see how other career fields operate. So I'm looking forward to eventually taking that back to my career field and helping my airmen out.
That's great. That's important. All right. Well, Sergeant Mason, thank you so much for joining us today. We had a great time with your conversation and this amazing food. By the way, if you're listening or viewing and you have any ideas on what we should eat next, just drop a comment or let the PA office know. We'll see what we can do to try a different delicacy next time. My stomach would appreciate it. Until then, thanks for what you do. We care about you. See you next time.